Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friday night's edition of Paranormal Question Day. We'll be right back right after a short intro. And we are back. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. It felt like a Saturday for me today. I was out moving my kid from college and bringing her home, which I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I did see
And
a
we have
Facebook post
Carmen
about that.
on. And yeah, so it's one of those days, mow the lawn, and guess what? We have a show tonight, folks. So tonight we have Miss Tori Westhoff with us. Welcome to the show,
Hello.
Tori.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tonight's going to be a special night, and this is actually the first for the paranormal question of the day. We are going to be giving away a book or two. So
Mhm.
depending on the author here. So um So anyhow, just waiting for a few to pop in, and I think there's maybe some that are just watching off to the side there. We got 5 that are watching, so don't mind me if I put this up here. It's my magnifying glass.
I love it.
So, so Tori, you want to let the people know who you are for those who don't know who you are. That way, they get a good understanding.
Well, my name is Tori, obviously. I'm horrible about talking about myself, but I will give it the old college try.
There you go.
Um,
Hey, Nathaniel.
I I have been involved in the paranormal for approximately 20-ish years, right around in there. I run the paranormal help desk, and that basically I find groups or teams of investigators to investigate the homes of people experiencing hauntings, and I do that worldwide and free of charge. And that's kind of like my big paranormal stuff. How I actually got into this stuff was I grew up in a haunted house. It I grew up in the 80s, and back then there was no internet, and there was no yellow pages with paranormal anything. In fact, it was pretty taboo, I would say, back then,
Oh yeah.
except for your mentionables like the Warrens and things like that. But even so, I kind of live in a Bible belt, so people just didn't talk about that stuff around here. So it kind of piqued my curiosity into the paranormal pretty much, and that was kind of like the the gateway into what I do now. And I remember the paranormal help desk kind of came about because I remember feeling very helpless and very scared, and I was there were certain times where I felt like I was going absolutely insane. Like you would hear stuff and you would see stuff, and you're like, this can't be normal. Nobody else is seeing it but me. But that's kind of where the paranormal help desk kind of came into the picture, is I wanted to help people like myself
Hmm.
that were struggling with paranormal activity in their homes. And I mean, even I think it's pretty safe to say today that I don't think that a lot of people are knowledgeable about the help that they can actually get if they were experiencing those things at home. Some people, I mean, they've never heard of the paranormal before, and they move into a house and they're just a victim of circumstance. You know.
Yeah.
Um, Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and back in the day, you watch Ghostbusters, and did you try calling that number of that they posted on Ghostbusters?
No, no. I wish there was a number. I was telling Nathan hi. Hi, Nathan. Maybe if it goes through.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I didn't actually start really investigating till about maybe 5 years ago, and these are just guesstimates. This isn't, you know,
Hmm.
an exact time frame, but I would say probably about 5 years ago, to start like going places and investigating and things like that. Um, I recently started a group with my bestie Sarah Joe, Mirrored Souls Paranormal, and it's just me and her, and we
Hmm.
just kind of do our thing, and we love it. We love
Absolutely.
it. It's a lot of fun.
So, what was your first location that you went to, and what did you all get as
I think
far as
so.
gear wise, or not gear wise, but uh, data wise?
The very first
Hey, Lisa.
location that I ever went to was the Brown Mansion in Coffeyville, Kansas, and one of my good buddies, David Glidden, was hosting an event there. This is before I even really knew who he was.
Hmm.
But he was hosting an event there, and I bought tickets, and that was the very first place that I had ever been. I can't say that I experienced anything there.
Okay.
As we know, like whenever you have large groups of people, sometimes it's kind of hard to pick out um, um, occurrences, I guess. I'm not
Right.
going to say that they're less frequent. I'm just going to say that maybe you don't notice them as much because they're everybody's talking and they're visiting and there's a lot of people.
Right.
So I think that a lot of the things that happen kind of get overshadowed by the people
Hmm.
visiting and whatnot. The
Hey,
second place
Dominic.
I ever went was Missouri State Penitentiary, and that again was an event
Okay.
that I went to. It was a Nick Groff tour.
Those are
I
big,
kind of
aren't
got my
they?
Yeah, there was a lot of people there, but Missouri State Penitentiary it's a very beautiful building.
Hmm.
If you've never had the opportunity to see it in person, I think that pictures don't do it justice at all.
Right.
Um, Hi,
Hey,
Christy.
Christy.
So many familiar faces. I love it.
Yeah.
But my third place was Malvern Manor, and that is the point where the books start to come into play. Is
There you go.
Malvern Manor? Yeah.
That's where the dream starts.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
everybody's got a starting point like, hey, I can start this, and this is the perfect
Yeah.
place to do that.
It's kind of funny the timeline that it actually all happened on is
Hmm.
it's just um, it's just kind of funny because with the Malvern book, I actually had a lot of that information way before a book was ever even thought of or published.
Right.
So, so yeah.
It's nice to see my boss on the in the chat here, Mr. Dom. That's our a free Saturday night up. Or it's not Friday night, sorry. I got confused. Like I said, it feels like a Saturday. Hey, Jamie
Right,
Lynn,
right.
welcome. So now let's talk about your books and stuff like that. So what got you starting, like I said, you talked about Malvern was the starting point, but so what was like the resources that you got into to help you get the books moving along and the
Well,
process that you took? Yeah.
the whole process with it was I met
Hey,
Josh
Kat.
Hurd. He's the Malvern Manor dude for
Yep.
anybody that's not familiar. I met him at a Paracon in 2019 in Kansas City. I think it was 2019. Pretty sure it was in Kansas City. I went, and that's where I had actually met Johnny Hauser the first time at Missouri State Penitentiary, but I met Johnny Hauser for the second time. I mean, in person. We had talked online and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
that was the first time that I met Josh, and he was telling me about Malvern Manor because I had never heard of it before that day, and I made it kind of like a personal goal to go to a location outside of an event and just see what it felt like. And when I did my first tour at Malvern, it was probably mm, a couple
Hey,
of months
Chris.
within meeting Josh. I went to Malvern Manor. And I think I asked the amateur questions, you know? I
Hmm.
think that most people, when they walk into a place, one of their first questions is how many people have died here. Because I think that most people, or maybe people that aren't really involved that much in the paranormal,
Right.
equate level of haunting with how many deaths occurred in a particular place, which I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it just kind of depends. I mean, every haunt is different. It's got its own vibe, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I get in the habit of doing that at every place I
yeah.
go to is like, is there any deaths in the building? If
Hmm.
not, that really
Hmm.
changes the complexion of what your investigation
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. And I mean, there's buildings that are haunted that have no deaths in them
Right.
at all. But I think that like our brain wants to equate haunting with death, and I mean, I feel like that's a fairly normal assumption that most people make, and most of the time we're not wrong. I mean,
Hmm.
in all honesty. But I had asked Josh. I said, "How many people have died here?" And he goes, "Well, I don't know." And I'm like, and I am a research nerd. I am such a nerd when it comes to like research and looking things up. It's kind of something that I'm always, genealogy is a thing for me. I
Hmm.
memorializing the dead is a huge thing for me. But I started to look into the deaths at Malvern Manor. One of the problems that I ran into a lot was that some of like your smaller towns, they don't really digitize their archives, their newspaper archives, which is what I mainly operate off of because I live so far away from a lot of these places. But I ended up finding all of these deaths and these articles and things like that, and I was sharing them with Josh. I was like, man, that's so cool. You got husbands and wives that like. There's a story in We Are Malvern Manor about a woman. Her and her husband moved into Malvern Manor,
Hmm.
and her she ended up passing away at Malvern Manor, and her husband, who was still living in Malvern Manor, married another resident at Malvern Manor, and then he died in Malvern Manor, and then his new wife ended up moving to another nursing home.
Oh wow.
um, yeah, there's so many stories, and I guess in a way, I wish that, like, if I could go back and redo it, I would make these stories very apparent
Hmm.
and very connected. But also at the same time, I'm like, I love it when people figure it out on their own, just like
Right.
I did. Like when I'm reading it and I'm reading the information, I'm like, oh my gosh, like these people have the same last name. Then you look at their obituaries and you're like, holy crap, they were married or whatever the case is.
Hmm.
To figure it out on your own, I feel like there's a certain, um, I don't know, like a
Hey, Amy.
certain, I don't know, appeal to it. I guess a certain level of excitement. I guess.
Oh yeah, because it's like you want to know what they died from,
Right. Right.
and what triggered it. And
Right.
sometimes we just find out uh, during our investigations, from our devices and stuff. So,
Yeah. I was trying to pull up the. Oh wait, I can do it this way. I was trying to pull up the live stream so that I could see what we were doing
ah,
for later.
and paranormal exposures is in the house. Thank you for sharing the
Yay!
page, along with Dominic sharing the page. So,
I love it.
so we're gonna be giving away a book or two tonight. There's gonna be a spin
Mhm.
wheel that we got going.
Mhm.
So
I love it.
Dominic, Amy, Carmen, Kat, um,
Actually,
and
do like just full warning. Like all of the books that I've ordered so far are taken, so it's going to take you a minute to get these books because I have to place another order. So it's going to be a couple
hey,
of weeks
Patricia.
before I can get it shipped out to you. But you will be getting a book. But
Yeah.
I feel like for you want to do We Are Malvern Manor at the beginning and at the end. Everybody that's in here now, we can do a name drawing, and just before anybody that's in there, minus the
Um,
person who won, we could do another one.
I think so. We can do that. You're the author, so you have full say.
We'll
I'm
we'll
too.
give away two. How about
Okay,
that? But it'll
absolutely.
take a little bit.
So
So I'm
before we get too far, this here is the very first book that she's written for We Are Melver Manor.
That's my
And
first book ever, the
right,
first one ever.
ever,
This
ever.
that is the book that started the whole series. So if you got the OG book,
So
like
this is
much
worth a
love.
lot of money.
The OG book. The new book has a new cover. It's got more names. how many names did we say Darren was in the original?
168 in this one.
168. So we're at 184 names. And yes, they do come autographed for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I got this one actually at Marshalltown, I think.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yes, it was Marshalltown. They had something going on, and I got to meet Josh for the first time, actually.
Yeah, because we sold those books.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 184 names in the new one. The We Are Malvern Manor was kind of like my learning curve, and there are a lot of really cool articles in there, and there are a lot of it, like I fixed sizing issues, and I'll talk about the books here. I don't have We Are Malvern Manor with me, but I have Edinburgh. But anyway, so that was kind of like my learning curve, and I've learned a lot since I published that book. I've learned a massive amount. So in the new book, the things that you can look for is more people. There are more people in there, and these are deaths that I found after the publication of the first one. I can guarantee you that it is not a complete list because um, newspaper articles aren't really digitized very well in that area of Iowa, so they're kind of hard. How it contrasts to like Edinburgh is that Edinburgh is full of death certificates. Malvern is not, and there is a reason, and that is because in Iowa, death certificates are a state by state thing. Like in Kansas, they don't consider death certificates public domain, so they don't ever publicly release them. In Iowa, they have to be dead for 75 years before they publicly release a death certificate. So that cuts it off at about 1965, which Malvern, or no, 55. It'd be 55, right? So Malvern didn't even open up as a nursing home until 1955. So the only death certificate that's in there is oh gosh, now her name escapes me, and she's one of my Eunice Stamper. And she was a 12-year-old girl that died from diphtheria in Malvern Manor. And every now and again, people will get her over spirit box, or at least we think it's her. So I've learned a whole lot. So there's more articles, and I have everything in that book is public domain. That is nothing that there is nothing in that book that is a HIPAA violation. There's nothing in that book that the average person couldn't find on their own. I just took the time to do it and put it in book format. That's kind of how they came.
That actually probably tie with this question right here that she has do you have to get permission to do the books and list all that stuff?
Well, that's kind of tricky. The simple answer is no. I don't have to because this is all public record. Do I? Absolutely, because I don't want to create any kind of conflict, and I think it's just respectful to do that. If you're writing a book on somebody's property, like I said, it's all newspaper articles, it's all public domain, it's something that anyone could find. So no, I don't really need permission to write them. I just choose to do that because I feel like that's just the right thing to do.
Right. If you have access by you, if you could put the link up to where people can buy the books, they are available on Amazon. So I would say if they look up with their name, they should pull up.
Now, if you order from Amazon, you will get. Let me log into my PayPal here.
Hardbacks are available on Amazon, but for the binder ones, you have to get them through her. And those are just the binder reason is for us paranormal investigators. When we go to these locations, they stay open to the page. They don't flop back. So that is the reason why for the binder. So if you're a paranormal investigator, highly get the binder issues. So
let me see. Actually,
and I think the binder issues and hardbacks are what $5 difference in price.
It kind of depends on where you order them from. Usually on like Lulu, I think they're cheaper on Lulu than they are on Amazon because the fees are insane. Printing costs are
there,
insane.
Sarah. Hi, Miss
Let
Everett.
me
How you
see
doing?
here. I think that I copied this correctly, but I mean, don't nobody go buy one yet though, because
Yep.
somebody can test that link that I'm posting in the chat. I don't know if that's the full link.
Okay.
Actually, let me see. My PayPal's not, oh, it's not the full link. I lied. Okay.
Yeah, it is very neat. I mean, it's very helpful on investigations. Um,
Okay, the second link is the
it's
full
not
link.
hardback. Oh, okay.
Let me
Just a
let's
soft.
see
All
that.
right. I'm sorry. Cat corrected me. It is a just a soft bound
Right.
cover book.
So if you order off of Amazon or Lulu, it's going to look like this. It's just a paperback book. And this is The Children of Asylum 49. It was the one that I did right after Randolph County Infirmary, I believe.
Okay.
So if you order online, this is what you're going to get. If you order through me, this is what you're going to get. My dog peeled out on this. That's why it's torn. So just so you know.
I'll have to. So after the show tonight, we'll have to go into BB3 TV's programming, and I'll have you relink it in the BB3's commentary.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so because you're saying that they'll probably sell on BB3 TV as well. So
So I'll explain the layout of the book so everybody understands. The beautiful Kat Armstrong helped me with this one. She has a forward in this one.
I do have to get that yet.
Yeah, I have to work on getting some spiral bound copies. There's kind of a holdup with them right now, but they are available on Amazon and paperback. But I'm sure I can get some spiral copies. It may just take a little bit. But so I always feel like I talk too much when it comes to these. So when I design these books,
Thanks,
I
Tom.
design them for the um, paranormal investigator. I'm a research nerd at heart, so there's a couple of little quirks that in here that I don't know if they're helpful, but they were helpful to me, so I pass them on. So in every book, everybody that died, everybody that passed away in the facility, they each have one page, and their name is in alphabetical order by first name and appears in the lower right hand corner
Hmm.
of the page. That is so that when you get a name, you can just flip through and find where you're at quickly and easily instead of opening each page and trying to figure out who is who and where you're at in the book.
Yeah, made me
Um,
page through.
the reason why they're in alphabetical order by first name is because usually when you're doing any kind of communication, or you get an EVP and you're asking who am I talking to? What's your name? It's usually a first name. Hardly ever do they say, a
Last
first
names.
and last name, right?
Yeah.
Or last name. If they had a nickname, it would be in alphabetical order by their nickname and not their given name. For example, if their name is Thomas and they went by Tom, then they would be under Tom and not Thomas because they probably would not go by Thomas
Right.
when you're talking to him anyway.
Now, have you ever and this is a question for Kat too,
Mhm.
um, being at Melbourne and Edinburgh, do you ever find like they go in order sometimes when you ask for names? Like, do they ever go like right in order, or is it just scattered all over the place, kind of?
Kat does these amazing little experiments, and she does live stream them where she goes through and she just starts reading names. And she's gotten some of the most amazing results that I've ever seen because of it. And it reminds me of like an elementary roll call. Like she'll start saying names and you'll hear present or here or that's me or whatever. And
Hmm.
it's really cool. And I hope that other people will do that and kind of get like um the same kind of experiences because it really is cool. And I think it's awesome that um like maybe people that normally don't pop up during investigations and stuff.
Hmm.
Maybe they don't interact at any other time outside of that. So I always thought that was kind of cool.
So Kat was saying that she have had one of Henry's tell me that they are Hank, which Hank is
Oh,
at
yeah.
Melbourne Manor. So interesting.
Sorry, I'm dealing with the little kids.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, they're part of the show too. They all have them.
Sorry. I was trying to do it on the DL, but that just didn't happen. She's dramatic. But
Yeah, they're a pretty cool setup. I'll have you look at mine, Nathaniel, on tomorrow. I'll bring it with me.
so also a little thing about the book, it tells you in the beginning how many names are in there. Each book also has a resident spirit page. Let me see. See, this is an example of a page in Berg. This is Edwin Vaughn. It has his death certificate. And death certificates are actually very informative. It tells you where they died, tells you when they died, it tells you who their parents are, what cemetery they're buried at. It tells you whether it was like an accident, a suicide, natural causes, and it also does give the cause of death. Like this guy
Oh
was
yeah.
chronic myocarditis, is what he died from.
Oh jeez.
So they're very informative. But each page has or
Absolutely,
each
Sarah.
okay, so each book has these, and Kat
Hey,
wrote these
Lori.
for me. So each book has a resident spirit sheet, and basically your resident spirits are the spirits that interact the most at any given location. So this is a resident male spirit, and basically it tells you what you can expect from them, and
Hmm.
it tells you how you can find them from the front door. So it's just going to tell you where to go if you want to have interaction with this person. Um,
You got an invite here.
huh?
You have an invite here.
Where? Oh, okay.
That'd be
Girl,
for the
I'll do
Westchester
it.
County Historical Museum, which I do bookings for.
I will do it. I love this stuff. In the back of the book, there are indexes. So the point of the indexes are to help with um, research. So they're in alphabetical order by last name. They're in order by year of death and month of death. So you can see trends. How many people died in 1962, or what month did the most people die in? Was there a trend? Is there anything that you noticed? Does that coincide with anything that you might be getting? Um,
Most common diseases, huh? And
yeah, yeah. So, and each page usually has enough room for you to write notes. These are meant to be marked up, marked in. They have, I think, on some of my longer books, I didn't include the notes section, but there are note sections in most of these books. On my larger books, um, I didn't do like Randolph County Infirmary was insane, like
mhm.
insane.
Well, how many
Um,
deaths are in there?
Randolph, it's
Yeah.
502
Phew.
that I could find. And
Right.
this is just the lion's share. I guarantee you there was more people. I think without reading, I don't know how many
Just
are
imagine to
in
do
Lincoln.
Waverly.
Oh my gosh. Well, Asylum 49, this is the children's portion of Asylum 49, and there are still four more books to go. There was over 1,200 deaths in Asylum
Oof,
49.
you got your work
Um,
cut out for you.
I was looking to see how many were in Edinburgh. I get them all confused because I've done a few of these now, and I bet Kat could tell you right off the top of her head, but
Oh
I
yeah.
cannot.
Oh yeah. I bet you she
I
could.
want to say there was like 230, maybe something like.
Give her a few seconds here. She'll respond. There he
I
goes.
keep getting hair in my nose.
Most deaths in Edinburgh.
234. I was close. I was
Okay.
close.
Yeah, you're close.
Who's in the potter's field? My most curious question. On the death certificate, which I'm not sure that because I have a spreadsheet that has links with all of these names. It's really kind of insane the amount of spreadsheets that I have. If they have a death certificate, which not everybody's death certificate could be found.
Hmm.
It just kind of depended on the death. Like I said, past 1955, there are none. So Potterfield's deaths, whenever they occurred, let me see if I can
And that's a
find
good way
one.
to do it to highlight it too for most common names that you get in your sessions or whatnot.
Yeah, but the people that have death certificates, typically it will appear. I'm going to try in the bottom. Now, over the years, they changed, but it
Hmm.
tells you where they're buried. It says burial place on their death certificates. So if they were buried in the potter's field and they have a death certificate, it'll say it right there.
Mm.
Um,
But you go like
I think,
find a grave and stuff like that too, don't you?
yes. So every person that every on every single book that I've done and every single person, if they don't have a find a grave, I create one for them. If they already have one, then I update all of their information. I will upload newspaper articles, I will fix dates, I will link all of their families that I could find. If it lists like their
Thanks for stopping by,
mother,
Jamie.
their father, thank you, Jamie. um, if it has their mother or father and I can find them, I will link all of their I will link all of their family if I can.
Hmm.
I will upload, like I said, newspaper articles, death certificates. If I can find a picture in the newspaper, I will upload that. And I complete it the best that I can. So every single person that's in any of these books,
Hmm.
all of their stuff is updated as much as I could update it on Find a Grave.
Sweet deal.
So
Hey, Denise.
I
Now,
have.
I do have a question for you.
Mhm,
Far as like the drawing for the book tonight, for those
mhm.
that were in chat and then had to leave, are they still entered in the wheel?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
let's just do that now.
Okay.
And let me. Hmm, okay, let me get to my little thing here.
Yep.
All right. So you're gonna have to read off names for me because I don't. I know Cat
Okay.
is in there.
Yep.
Can
Cat's
you
in
see
there.
my wheel?
Let's see if I can get this. See if it moves over. Give me time here.
We're winging it, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, we're winging it tonight. So we had cat. We had. Let's see. Where did you go? Sorry. Oh, I have you. There you go.
It's okay. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so we had Cat Armstrong, we had Denise Wiederman Flood, we have Jamie Lynn Keller in there, we had Dominic
I'm
in
sorry
there.
if this is not right. I'm just going with it.
Yeah,
Who
we
else do
had
we have?
Sarah Evans in there. We have Carmen,
Oh gosh, Dominic, Sarah, E. Who?
Carmen, and then we have Lori. Let's see, Christy. Let's see. I'm just scrolling up my names here, folks. So pardon me. We have Nathaniel. Let's see. Still going. We have Amy. And then there's Dominic. If you need to know us about Dominic. Patricia. She was in here as well.
Okay.
Let's see here. Just trying to go through the list here. Let's see. Cat, Dominic.
Lisa Peterson
Well,
was in there.
so do we still enter paranormal exposures as one or just cat?
Uh, we could put her husband.
Okay. We have Chris Schofield.
Okay.
And let's see. Still going up.
Or we'll
Pardon me,
just put
folks.
her
And
normal
I think that's
exposure
about
because
okay.
I'm
So
sure
that's about
that
as
was
far as we got.
Will. I'm
And you
sure that was
can't
Will.
select yourself. Uh,
I could win my own book.
can't
I
spell.
love it. Hmm?
I said can't spell LL. Yeah. Denise is DANISE.
Um, but also keep in mind I can't see my screen.
Yep. I hear ya.
Let's see.
Just can't. Okay.
DAN what?
DANISE.
ISE. Oop. See, I done messed it up again. Okay, is that all of them?
As of right now, yes.
All right, let's see who wins.
Spin the wheel. Who
Here
will
we
it land
go.
on?
Who gets it?
And Denise
Denise.
Flood gets it.
Yay!
Denise Flood is the first winner of the We Are New Melver Manor book.
Awesome.
So, is there another book you want to give away, or do you want to stick with the same book?
I was just going to stick with the same one
Okay.
because I don't know how easy it's going to be. Here, you can take the little screen off because now.
Yep. There
um,
you go. There you go.
but I don't have a pen, so Denise just inboxed me, and congratulations. Um,
Congratulations. We will do another one towards the end of the show.
yes,
So
so excited.
awesome. This is good. This feels good. Give away stuff tonight.
It does. You know, honestly, I have spent more money making these books than I have ever made from them.
Mm-hmm.
But I am okay with it because I love putting the information out there and I love telling these stories, and they're important to me. These lives are important to me, and I
Right.
love just having information at people's fingertips because, you know, one day I'm going to be a newspaper article. And I hope that somebody that if there's another me out there that they do the same things because a lot of people have so many awesome stories to tell. They
Mm-hmm.
really truly do, and there's a lot of awesome stories in all of these books. You can connect the dots, and poor farms have a special place in my heart. They really
Mm-hmm.
really truly do. A lot of people aren't knowledgeable about poor farms, but the Cliff Notes version is it's basically um, like welfare back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. But they made these poor farms for people that were unable to care for themselves, that were poor, people
Mm-hmm.
that were mentally retarded, people, and keep in mind that their definition of mental incapacity would be things like Down syndrome or being deaf or people that were blind. I mean, their definition then versus ours now are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, People that suffered from ailments like
Disabilities
alcoholism,
and
yeah, people that, you know, had the old iron lung or whatever from coal miners or whatever the case is.
mm-hmm.
But sometimes poor farms also kind of doubled um, as a mental health place for people that were considered mentally ill. They called them like spasms or fits, or
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of funny. But
Well,
yeah.
sometimes too, these places can be a double-edged sword for these folks
Hmm.
because the people that work there treat them so poorly and
Hmm.
make the situation a lot worse than it
Hmm.
should be.
And
Living
poor farms,
conditions are bad too.
yeah, and poor farms were considered like a self-sustaining community. So basically, the county was going to take care of you, but in order for the county to take care of you, you had to work it off. So poor farms were typically around 150 acres or more, and they planted their own fruit trees. They raised their own cattle and pigs and chickens. The people
There
that
are
were
water
able-bodied
towers.
worked, and the people that were not, then they kind of sat there and rotted away, out
Hmm.
of sight, out of mind. Then these poor farms, they would take like the crops and stuff that they raised themselves, and they would feed the community with those, but they would also sell extra and make money. So that would pay for like their clothes and water and all of that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So um, poor farms, they really, um, I don't
You
know.
should go for a
It's
tour. Cat gives good tours.
yes, I get to see Cat in November. I'm excited at
There you go.
at the manor
Hey,
too.
Henry.
So it'll be my first time. So I'm
Interesting.
pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said,
Mm,
these books are very helpful. You know, just going to the location itself, and then
mhm,
sometimes we get stuff, sometimes we don't. I mean, that's just
mhm,
how paranormal investigations work. But
mhm,
when you get something out of those books, I mean, that's got to
mhm.
put a smile on your face when all this comes to fruition.
It does. And honestly, when you asked me to do the podcast earlier in the week or whatever, and I agreed, and you made your post, like so many people shared it. I had,
Mhm.
sorry, my dog's playing with this squeaky toy. That's what that is. I had no idea that that many people knew about the books that I'd done, and I had no idea that I was incredibly loved. And I mean, it is very it warms my soul, and it means more to me than I think people realize.
Mhm.
So thank you for all of the support over the years and just supporting these things because this isn't everybody's cup of tea. I mean, it truly is not. And there's a lot of despair, and there's a lot of um, like you truly see how desperate some of these people are, and a lot of the time, especially on poor farms, their family is it was the other people in the facility. They didn't Nobody came to see them. Nobody thought of them like during Christmas or Thanksgiving. The only people they knew were in there with them, and
Mhm.
I find that incredibly sad,
Yeah.
that people are forgotten. And a lot of these people in the poor farms, they don't they don't have any kind of legacy. They don't that Some of them didn't even get a death announcement in the newspaper.
Right.
The only reason why they died was because of their death certificate.
Yeah. And I told you about the cemetery that we have in town here that's hidden away for
Hmm.
Winnebago Mental Institution. Um,
Hmm.
and they're just markers.
Hmm.
870 people are buried in that one cemetery.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
markers, you know.
And like Edinburgh, like I believe that's one of the ones where they don't know where their Potter's Field is.
Hmm.
There's articles about it. I remember Kat could probably she knows this book um, like the back of her hand. But there was an article in here. Um, Also, I forgot to mention there's interesting news sections. It has like census records in it, anything that I could find as far as plat maps and all that stuff.
So when
Um,
you just real quick, when you go through all your stuff, like when you're in the middle of writing a book,
mhm,
now sometimes you have gone live on TikTok,
mhm,
Facebook, just kind of asking people questions and whatnot.
mhm.
Do you still do that, or is that something just kind of every once in a great while?
I do it every once in a while. I like to get input from other people and just kind of see what kind of information do people want to have, and what do they what would they look for? What would make this useful?
Hmm.
Because I want it to be useful. Um, See, here's a good example um, of some of these people. This is all that I had for Eunice Holton back. That was all she got.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of these people in the poor farms, that is all. That is all that's left of the life that they had. That's it right there.
Wow.
And it's sad.
Hmm.
It's sad.
How
Um,
old was she again?
I don't even know. It doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Because we know that Inez is what, 12, right? 12, 13.
Oh yeah, this is at Edinburgh. Inez is at Malvern, but yes,
Right. That's
Inez
what I was saying.
was she was
Eunice
12.
is sometimes I forget who the people are at Edinburgh, so I know I'm gonna
Hmm.
get beat up for that one by Kat. You're supposed to know
Well,
your stuff.
like I get messed up too. I like sometimes I call it Edinburgh, sometimes I call it Edinburgh, sometimes I call it Edinburgh. It just kind of depends on how it comes. I don't know. My brain just decides what it's going to be called that
How it
day.
rolls off your tongue.
Right, right. Um, also, prior to the year like 1900, 1905, they didn't start doing death certificates until like 1899 in in some cases, and then like 1904 in most cases. So there's some that this guy died in, or this lady, she died in 1891. So there was no death certificate to be had for her, but she still has a stone.
Wow.
Um, one of the most exciting things about the new Malvern Manor book is there are pictures of some of the residents in there that I found online. So you get to see what some of these people looked like back then. And it's
Wow.
so cool. It's so cool. And I
Now,
feel like that adds another element. It's like if you did see an apparition in there, was it somebody that was in that book? Can you
mhm.
point it out? Can you say this is who I saw? Um, that I mean, that added another element for me that I'm pretty excited about. So,
So have you ever gone like on the Ghost Tube app at all? Have you seen those?
I have, and I haven't really used it.
So they
I
got a new one. It's called Seer, where it's supposed to
mhm,
like I tested out in my basement, and so I was investigating. I know not supposed to investigate. I just did it for 5 minutes because I want to test this app out.
mhm,
Um, but what it does is it comes up with a picture of what might be in your location or what the area might have looked at before
mhm.
this was all even here.
Oh,
Uh,
that's cool.
so it just pops up. It shows you all the photos in the background when they're done. But I find it kind of weird and kind of freaky that a picture would pop up when you're investigating. Okay, so this is what it's seeing.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I know, like on Google Earth, you can go back. Um, you can go back a really long time and look at like satellite images. I know that you can
Oh,
do
I didn't know
that.
that.
Hmm. You can. I can't remember how far it goes back. It's been a long time since I've looked at anything, but yeah, you can go back way back and
Wow,
see satellite images from on Google Earth
that's kind of creepy.
for sure. Yeah. Hmm.
So, speaking of investigating, so what are some of the things you like to do during your investigations when you and Sarah go, or whoever else you go with? What are the type of stuff that you use on your investigations besides your books?
One of my favorite things is my static dome that I got from Vortex Ghost Gear. It's like $95 shipped. By far the cheapest piece of equipment that I've ever owned, and it is phenomenal. Um, well, I love you too, Sarah. I'll teach you my ways. Um,
Yeah, like I said, she'll go live. You can teach it then.
yeah, we're trying, me and Sarah. We're trying, but we'll see how it pans out.
Right.
But there may be something in the works there. We'll see. Right now, I'm also working on We Are McIntyre Villa. So there's
Ooh,
going to be a McIntyre Villa book coming. It's probably about a quarter of the way done right now. So that's going to be interesting. But
that's a neat place.
anyway, yeah, it is. I definitely recommend it.
Speaking of which, we
Um,
haven't seen Stephanie yet. She must be investigating.
I know she was busy doing something earlier. I'm not sure what it was, but Um, anyway, my static dome, it hardly ever goes off, but when it does, it's pretty cool. I really, really enjoy it. I have my Flux too. It's okay. Um,
Yeah, I didn't find any humor in that one. The Flux too.
I I have it, and I've noticed that, like, when I have it, on, I usually couple it with the static dome just to see if anything coincides. Now, I really wanna get one of those light chaser tracers. I'm excited to see what you think about yours. I really
Yeah,
want one bad.
yeah, we'll see. I probably won't be using it until we get to Broadhead, which will be June 3rd.
That's
But who
okay.
knows? Maybe I'll do a product review in my own house, and I'll put a video up for that.
Yeah, because we talked about that several months ago when it first hit.
Mm-hmm.
When it first hit, I don't even remember when that was. That was a couple of months ago.
Yeah, that was a few months ago. I was telling my friends
Mhm.
and telling Kat and
Yeah,
Ethan, and I was like, God, my fingers on that trigger. Denise too. I
I
was like, it's
know.
on the trigger. I want to, but
Mm,
no, I'll wait. And then Josh came out with his video Tuesday with it. I'm like, all
yeah.
right, now I'm hooked. Bring
Yeah,
feelings home.
I watched the video off of the link that you shared, and holy cow, like, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty
Yeah, I mean,
impressive.
with that proximity sensor he had with it, it was coexisting with it.
I'm hoping to get one before August 4th 'cause, Sarah Jo and me and, Melissa, we're all doing an event at Malvern Manor. So, my goal is to get one prior to that just to see how we do.
Right.
So yeah, um, it's gonna be that's gonna be an amazing event. I'm so excited. Austin Manard, he is coming from Ohio,
Okay.
to lead some groups, and then Katie Stafford from Paranormal Inc. He is coming, as well. So
That'll be cool.
yeah, it's gonna be a cool event, and it's kind of a techie event. They both build equipment, and they've um, Austin, he is on Deathwalker with Nick Groff. I've been watching him build equipment for quite a long time now. I couldn't tell
Hmm.
you how long exactly, but we've been friends on Facebook for at least a few years or whatever. He's currently working on something for me, my lingua phone, that
Is
I
it a God
sent.
helmet?
I wish. I wish it was like a research beacon, where it just sends me like links to all the things that I need to know. It just downloads
Right.
it, but that just takes a lot of work. To give you
Cat.
to
Yeah,
give
I did
everybody
say
an
it.
idea with these books, Edinburgh, I believe, took probably 8 months to a year to put together, find. I think
Wow.
Kat could probably tell you more because, like I said, I've done so many of these that they all get mixed up. But they're a lot of work. They're a lot of work, but
So
I'm just glad people enjoy them.
Sarah wants to know, where are you wanting to go, or what are you wanting to get before August 4th?
Oh, the light tracer off of, is it Ghost Stop?
Yeah, go stop.
Yeah, Darren and I were talking about it months ago, and oddly enough, I had shared a video with Darren
Yeah.
from TikTok, and it was this guy that made a light chaser where it would follow you down the hallway and back, and I'm like, couldn't we like make one of these? It was like a Raspberry Pico something with a motion and distance sensor, and like I kind of looked into all of that. And then next thing you know, Ghost Stop comes out with the same damn thing,
I
only
did.
it more sophisticated. I
Yeah.
mean, way less barbaric and caveman like that I probably would have come up with.
Well, most machines are like that, though. I mean,
Yeah.
everything
But like,
is a test and
yeah,
try.
but it really piqued my interest. I'm like, I wonder if it could detect mass or whatever the heck they detect. I just thought it would be a really cool thing to try out, and then here comes Ghost Stop and their shenanigans, and they got it. Um, so yeah, that's what I was looking at. I've been looking at something similar for way longer than a couple of
Yeah.
months, but
Okay,
yeah.
like the God helmet. You know,
Yeah.
that's another piece of gear. I don't know if I really want to test out because I don't need my brains to be scrambled already than they are.
Right? I feel like I have enough dumb moments. I don't need help. Um,
Cats stick with the cat balls.
yeah. But honestly, when here lately, it's been me, Sarah Joe, Stephanie, and Melissa. We've been kind of hanging out, and we went to Garnett House not too long ago. And quite honestly, like we have a few things, but for the most part, we just use our bodies and we
Hmm.
just pay attention. And we just go in there. We don't set up a bunch of stuff. I'll have a live stream going or whatever just to you know, document and share and kind of like my way of video recording because I don't own a camcorder,
Yeah,
which
they're
is
cheap
something I probably
nowadays.
need to change, but
I could send you a few
haven't made it
links
that
down
far.
the road.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we just kind of go in and do our own thing, and I don't like it's not stressful and um it's not I'm not a schedule person. Like
Hmm.
I like to wing it. Um That's the one thing about the event that's coming up on August 4th. Like trying to come up with an itinerary, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know because I just kind of wing it. But that's why I wrote all times approximate because I can't guarantee that we'll stick to the itinerary. But
Right. Now, is this a private event or is this a public event?
this is a public event. Um,
Okay.
we have, I
I
mean, the
think
cat's kind of
Sarah missed it, so she was wondering if you want to repeat what your event is on August 4th.
Yes, August 4th, it is Mad Science at Malvern Manor, and Austin Mannard and Katie Stafford are coming. They both build equipment. Both of them have been on paranormal TV shows. They've been building equipment and selling equipment for quite a while, and they're kind of the mad scientists when it comes to devices. So we thought that it would be a really cool thing to have these um, guys come in and basically show people their devices, how they work, experiment with them, investigate, have fun, and do that thing. So that's what we're doing, and
Hmm.
like we're doing kind of there's more to it than that, which the cat's kind of out of the bag with Stephanie, but um, all of the proceeds from these events that we are doing are being donated it back into locations. So anything that is profit, we are putting back into, you know, trying to fix things that need to be fixed at other locations. So
Which is good.
that was kind of the goal. Which I want people to come because they want to come and because they think it would be cool. But that is the purpose thus far. So we'll see how it goes. And we're doing
Yeah.
a wine tasting event in the
Ooh.
spring at the villa, at McIntyre Villa, and it's going to be cool. So there's a winery coming to do a wine tasting, and there's a ghost hunt. And the one in August at Malvern, we're hiding a $50 bill is somewhere inside the manor. So if you find it, you get to keep it.
It'd probably be the most haunted room in the whole place.
Right. We'll put
Or a
it, they have
room
to reach
set up
there.
of dolls and you gotta complete a task for 45 minutes to an hour to
Yeah.
get your $50.
You have to stick your hand in Shadow Man's door to get it.
Oh god. That's funny. There's also another place that I could hook you up with far as making a book would be Broadhead Manor. Um
Nice.
so
What did that
Broadhead
place used to be?
Yeah, Broadhead Manor's in Broadhead, Wisconsin. It's a huge, huge middle school. It's 60,000 square feet. It's been
Oh,
around since 1906, I believe.
nice.
And it's also has a Indian burial mound on top of it,
Oh,
or
wow.
actually underneath it. I should say underneath it. My bad. And Kat can give you a lot about those details about that location
Mhm.
as well. Um, and Bill Walter, that is the owner of Broadhead Manor. Highly get in touch with him and see what he thinks and see
Mhm.
if that's something that you'd like to have
Mhm.
on hand. So
Yeah. Like I am definitely open to doing any kind of location. And um, With every book, there are challenges. With Asylum 49, the challenge was the fact that there was just so many of them that,
Mhm.
like, it's like, how do you even divide these up? Like, it's an insane amount of people.
It's like a two-person job for that.
Yeah. Um, Randolph County Infirmary, that was my learning curve on splitting books into more than one book. Um,
Mhm.
Randolph County Infirmary by far is the least sold book that I have, and partly that's because it's so dang expensive. Printing costs, um, printing costs are insane. When like I want to say Randolph County is like an $80 book or a $90 book. And there's not a lot of people that are willing to drop $90 on a book, which I don't blame them. I would
Yeah.
question dropping $90 on a book, 100%. Like
Right.
I don't blame
It's
anybody
not
for
like
that.
a university textbook.
Right, right. And especially if you don't know what it's about. Like if you don't know if you're going to like it, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Randolph County Infirmary is the one that I learned that you once you have so many that you probably need to split it up in volumes. And that's how I did Asylum 49, which I still have more to do
Mhm.
for Asylum 49. Um, and then, you know, Edinburgh and Malvern, those were pretty cut and dry. There was just like a perfect amount, and it worked out. And the books aren't too expensive, and they're not too cheap. They just kind of are, and I feel like um, I don't know how much Edinburgh is online. Not
I was
sure.
just gonna ask you, like, do you know the prices offhand of what the books are?
I think for the spiral, I was charging 35
That's not
on
bad at all.
PayPal, I think. For the paperback, I think it was probably 45 or 50, I want to say,
Okay.
if you ordered it offline. Um, Malvern, the new Malvern book is, I want to say it's going to be like 50 through like Lulu, Amazon. And those won't be available on Amazon until I approve the proof copy, which will be here, I think, tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I knew it was somewhere around in there. But the challenges are going to be different for every location.
Mhm.
McIntyre Villa, one of the challenges there are is the fact there's only 9 deaths in that house. I mean, keep in mind this was a residential home. People lived there and made it their home. It wasn't a facility, and it wasn't a nursing home or poor farm or funeral home or anything like that. It was somebody's home for a lot of years. So,
Right.
um, but there are a lot of cool stories and a lot of cool connections, and I've been able to navigate it in such a way that I feel like it's going to be pretty on point. I feel like it's going to be pretty on point. So I am always open to Amy the Spiral is not on Lulu. Lulu will not allow me to. They will not publish spiral bounds. Those are the only spirals you can get are from me.
Yeah.
Um,
She'll send it to you directly from her house.
yeah, yeah. They come to me and then I sign them. All spiral copies come signed. But I think that like the challenge for like some places that just don't really have deaths or a lot of them,
Mhm.
the challenge is trying to put the book in a format where information would be easy to find and information that's useful. Um, yeah, I really like the spirals.
Yeah.
When
They're
I
nice.
did Asylum 49, Kim is the owner of Asylum 49. He was like, when he ordered the spirals, he was like, he messaged me later and he's like, I didn't understand why anybody would want a spiral, but I get it now. Like, I
Right.
understand now. Yeah, they're super helpful. Is there a name or specific story that sticks out to you or that made an impact on you during your journey of putting these books together? Absolutely. One
Good
of
question.
the craziest articles that I read was actually Edinburgh Manor. There's an article in this book that describes the Potter's Field. They're talking about burying bodies in the Potter's Field, And in that article, it was talking about how they went to go bury a body, and when they put the shovel into the ground to dig the hole, they cut the legs off of another corpse because the potter's field was
Ooh.
so full that they didn't have room, and they were like basically chopping bodies up trying to bury other bodies. That
Now, wouldn't you
that is
think that stirs
probably the
stuff
one.
up?
I mean, you would think. I mean, how is it even right? I don't like that would never happen these days, or at least not to my knowledge. But that by
Yeah.
far, that I will never forget that article. That is definitely a specific story that sticks out in my mind. To know that they were burying people and chopping them up at the same time. That was different.
Jeez. That's nuts.
Reuben Reed, yes, I remember. I remember. I can't remember what his story is about, but I remember Reuben. I don't remember the name.
Ah, okay.
One of my other favorite stories is Eunice Stamper in Malvern. The name Eunice would come across on like Spirit Box and stuff like that, but nobody really ever knew who that was. And
Hmm.
I found her one day. I just started looking and I found her. I mean, that's another good example of my research nerdness. But I found her. And one thing that I found interesting is that Inez Gibson was 12 years old, and
Hmm.
Eunice Stamper was also 12 years old, and they died 10 years apart, almost to the day.
Wow.
They both died
It'd be
in.
kind of interesting if you did a live from Malvern
Hmm.
and Kat did a live from Edinburgh, and you guys bring out your books and start talking and naming off the names and see if anything would answer, like if a name from Malvern would get on her spirit box and a
That
name
would be
from
cool.
Edinburgh you get on your spirit box.
You game cat?
That would be cool. Kind of do like a Hauser Herd investigation type deal, but using books type.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting.
People will watch.
You're
I
welcome,
think so.
Sarah. I love sharing stories. I'm a story person.
Oh, she's
I love it.
game.
I love it.
Oh,
But
we'll have
yeah,
to
I
get that set up.
Malvern has a lot of really cool stories, and I mean that's by far the place that I've been to the most. The Edinburgh is definitely one of my favorites, and I'm finally going to be able to go in November. Kat invited me, and I am going to go check it out. And I'm going to bring my book that my dog peeled out on. This is old Trusty right here. So I'm definitely going to bring my book, and I'm going to see what kind of stuff I can. I'm so excited. Like one of the things that I'm really looking forward to is walking that building with Kat. And I know that Kat does not take any credit for this book, and she should, but she won't because that's just who she is.
Hmm.
But if it wasn't for Kat, this book would not exist. I
Right.
met Kat at Malvern Manor when we were doing an event, and we were selling. That's back when We Are Malvern Manor was first published, and we were selling books. And Kat came to this event, and she walked up to me and she said, "I wish somebody would do something like that for Edinburgh Manor." And she kind of told me a little bit about it. And it was funny because I had just I had spoken to Josh about like what if we did more locations? What if we could put this information out for other locations? And we were just kind of like talking about it and we're like, well, where though? And then Kat came in and she started talking to me about Edinburgh Manor. And if it, I quite literally, if it was not for her, We Are Edinburgh Manor would not exist probably at all. She did a lot of legwork. If I needed a name to be looked at, um, she was the one that would do that legwork for me because I live 8 hours from Edinburgh. I do not live
Hmm.
close. If we needed historical society stuff, she was the one that went. She gave me names that she found in the manor, and we looked them up, and we worked it was an amazing team effort to get that book put together. All of the pictures were courtesy of her that were in that book. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all of all of those. These are all because of Kat. I'll show you my favorite picture. Hold on, let me find it because it was really funny because she was volunteering information. Where's it at? Oh, this one right here. Uh, you see that ceiling fan?
Yep.
How jacked up it is? And
Oh
she's
yeah.
like, the ceiling fan still works.
Yeah, those things are really bent down pretty far.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how that still works. And I wrote that. The cat says that it still works in the book. Um, but quite honestly, she was amazing through that whole thing. She was prompt. I didn't have to beg her to do anything. And she volunteered it, and she does not take credit for it, and she certainly should. I love her to pieces, and I absolutely cannot wait to walk the manor with her in November. Like I am so looking forward to it. The blaze falls.
Wow.
Um, but I cannot wait to walk through that building with one of the main characters in that book. I'm a sentimentalist. I love that kind of stuff, and she definitely earned the forward in that book, and she did everything that I asked her to, and more. So I can't be happier with how that turned out.
Yeah. She's an awesome
So
person.
there, Kat,
Awesome person.
you're gonna have to accept the accolades.
Yep. Yep. So before we start winding down the show here, where can the people get a hold of you? Email, text, or
Um,
media.
I've started an LLC, so if it has anything to do with books, you can do Paranormal Playground LLC at gmail.com. If you have questions about books or want books, or just send me an email there. You can look, obviously, you can do Facebook chat.
Hmm.
I always have it running in the background. You can, I'm on under Paranormal Tori on TikTok. Excuse me. So really, any mode. Usually, if somebody, it, most people can reach out to any one of my friends, and they can get a hold of me too. But I'm pretty easy to find for the most part.
Definitely. Awesome. So do we let's get the wheels set up for another
Yeah,
giveaway.
we got to do names again. So there's Kat,
Cat, we'll do Lori,
Sarah,
Sarah,
Lori.
and we have Denise, Danise.
Didn't she won the last time, right?
Oh yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take her
So
off.
does that exclude her for this one?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
do a new one. And
Okay.
then if you're in the chat and you have not said anything, now is your time. Like you don't have to say anything meaningful. You can say here or whatever to get your name on the wheel.
Right. We have Carmen.
Carmen.
Yep.
I hope. Okay.
And then we had let's see here. They keep going up the list here. We have Amy.
Amy.
We have Dom.
Dom. Oh,
And then
Dom.
we have Patricia,
Patricia.
Christy.
Christy. Oh wait,
Uh,
that's with a K, isn't it?
Christy, yep.
Christy.
That's with the K.
Okay.
Yep. And then we had Nathaniel. Let's see here. Still going up. I know we had Henry Lee that popped in and out.
Henry. Lee?
Yep, Henry. Yep. He's new, so I've never seen him on here before.
Is he gonna know if he won?
I
Like,
don't know.
I'm gonna take him off because he's gonna have to eat. He's gonna have some. You guys are gonna have to message me with your addresses. So if
Yeah,
nobody can get a hold of him, and he doesn't know. I don't know how we're going to
Right,
give it
right.
away.
Let's see. We have Jamie Lynn.
Uh, Jamie Lynn.
I think that pretty much covers it. I haven't seen anyone else new pop in. But
Here,
then
let's
again, you got
look.
people that have the show on in the background, but just not commenting. So, um, get
All
down
right,
here.
going once, going twice. If you're in here and you want a chance to win this book, make sure that you put your name in the chat, or just say here, and we'll put your name on it.
Yep, Christy and Sarah. Yep, just
All right, we ready?
puts her in there 2 times. It said.
Huh? Another Sarah?
Well, I think it just said oh, Sarah and Sarah. Like Sarah Joe.
Oh,
I did
Sarah.
not see her in chat. And then we have a Tara that just popped on.
Tara.
And then that's about, oh, she's joking. Sarah Evers is joking.
Oh, okay. Okay,
All
here
right.
we go. All
And
right, that do
here,
her up.
do it,
Here we go.
run it. We're doing it.
Who's winning?
And
Yay! It's Sarah.
Sarah Evans, welcome to your winner for the second book.
I love
Oh,
it.
it is Sarah
So,
Everts.
so I will.
Get
And
that
she
off
won.
there.
So Sarah, I will just put that book in with the one that you already ordered, and then you can do what you wish with it. You can give it away, you can sell it, you can whatever you want to do.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and you know, and another thing too, if you want to do this again and do like before your event you have at Melbourne,
Yeah.
we could do that again on here and just do that too.
Okay. And Sarah, thank
So
you for your kind words. I just saw them. I wasn't on the screen when I was putting names in there, but thank you. And thank you guys for just being supportive and just cool and amazing and just all that you are. I just really appreciate it. You guys have no idea.
this is a very good show, very good show.
I
Um,
enjoyed it.
I did too. I just feels good just to give away stuff because this is the first time for this channel and this show to give away something. So it
I love
makes
it.
me feel good to do that for people.
Yeah.
And so I always end the show with a positive thing. And so, being a paranormal investigator, writing these books and stuff like that, what kind of message do you want to leave with the viewers tonight to say, hey, I heard this on this one show, and this is the last impression that really sticks with me?
You know, I don't know what we can and can't say on here, but anybody that knows me, I'm sure Sarah has figured it out. Kat definitely knows. I am such a tit bag. I am so sentimental and I cry all the time and I am I'm very sensitive and I've been through some stuff recently. Just, it's nothing that I care to go into, and it's nothing that probably most of us haven't been through, and just things that create stress for just in your life. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And, honestly, it does not take that much effort to be kind, and
It's
it does
that.
not take. It does not take that much effort to just be a good person. And I feel good right now. I feel good. I feel good giving away books. I feel good seeing the names of people that support me. I just I like it.
And
And I'm going to be a tit bag, so I'm going to stop talking.
Well, I mean, it's like I said. I mean, you got a following, and people really enjoy what you do, and there's no way I could ever do that. I mean, I could half write, but not, you know. But I mean,
Well, they're
it's
not like the novel kind of books.
yeah, but I mean, it's a lot of work that you put into that, and people are very grateful for that because it helps us when we go do investigations. It really helps, and you know, there's no one else out there that does it. So, you're gonna get a lot of more people that are gonna want to do that stuff and ask for it. So, and I know Lori's gonna be one of them. She's gonna say, "Hey, can you do one for our location?" Thank you, Sarah. And that's just it's a very big positive in the paranormal field. So,
And that's really all I ever wanted to do. And the support, like it means a lot. It really truly does.
mhm. So, and I'm happy to share this, with people so they can, hey, this shoots out into the
Mhm.
East Coast side of things. This is in the Midwest. This is in the South. So people are going to see it. They're going to know more of what you do. And, I hope your inbox gets flooded and, and it keeps on going. So, yep. Laura says, please, please, please. So,
There was a time where I really even questioned continuing to do books because,
mhm,
like I said, they take a lot of work, and I mean it gets expensive after a while trying to, because there's a lot of memberships that go along with trying to get these all together. And
right.
like I said, I've spent way more than I've ever made, and I know they're expensive, and I mean really, like, at the end of the day, like, whenever you buy
Mhm.
one of these, by the time the fees are taken out, I only make, like, $3 a book, if that. I mean,
Wow.
it's not much. I appreciate what I make because that just goes back into, like, memberships and just being able to create, but really the thing that had, the most impact is just the support.
Mhm.
So,
That means a lot right
I'm
there.
excited.
So I was going to say, Tara, now's a good time. Now that you said you lost your Malvern book, now's a good time to get the new version with more names in it.
Yes, there are more names. There's 184 names, in the new book. And when we say before, see, I can't remember nothing. It's like 164
Right.
ish, in
But
the
like,
first one.
let Denise says, it does add up. In time, it will add up.
It does it does, like one of these books takes probably 8 months to a year typically.
Yeah. And,
It
with a
just depends
full-time
on how fast
job
you find
and,
it. hmm I'm a
you
single
know,
mom of two kids, and I'm a full-time ER nurse. That's what I do in real life. I work in the ER. One of my the good things is I work night shift. So when we're not busy, I have a lot of time to devote to that. So it just depends on how easy the information is to find, but typically it's I don't know, on average 6 months to a year probably of just looking stuff up. And then that's
well,
not and that's also like trying to put it all together and getting the information that you need to have. But the support is what really the fact that people enjoy them. Like I never honestly thought that I would ever be in this position. I honestly didn't think that these books would ever really mean anything to anybody other than me.
right.
And I'm very happy that they do. And I'm very happy that people enjoy them. And it warms my heart.
Yeah. That's good.
So
It's a good
thank you
feeling.
everyone.
So, thank you, Tori, for being on tonight. I greatly
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me. Thank you
And
for the
we'll have to do
opportunity.
this again, like I
Yeah.
said. And then you and Kat have to do the experiment that we pulled up. So, Rose Wolf, never heard of that.
I'll look her up for sure.
Okay.
Send me a text
Um,
with that name so I can look.
So remember, if you can be gracious to please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for being on the Paranormal Brew, BB3 TV Networks, MGS Paranormal, all on Facebook and YouTube, and Derbus on Twitch. I this is a lot. This is cool. I enjoy this stuff, and like I said, it's
Oh,
very helpful. Hey, William, and
oh, thank you. Well, I'm sure he can probably hear me.
yeah.
I don't, it's not like text message, but um,
And I thank you all for joining us. So once again, check her books out. And you let me guess, you won't be disappointed. Okay, you will have fun with your investigations. It will just you'll smile from ear to ear when you catch something and it's in the book. And she'll be smiling too.
I will.
Let her know that you got
Yeah, for
something.
sure.
You know,
I
and
love one of my favorite things, just real quick, is reading the reviews on Amazon. Um, I'm not by any means suggesting that you have to write any kind of review on Amazon, but I do read those periodically to see how they help. I love feedback. If there's something you don't like, if there's something that you love, if there's something you would change, what could make it better? I am all ears because I make these books for you guys.
mhm.
That is the
Share your
goal.
story with it on there.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
once again, thank you, Tori. Thank you all for joining
Thank
us
you for having me.
tonight. And like I said, please like, share, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And I gotta get my fingers right. That's Tori, and I'm Darren. And I bid you all adieu, and you all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank
And
you guys.
I might go live tomorrow night at the museum. Who knows? I'll post if I do.
Hmm.
So we'll be there tomorrow night. And then also, as far as Monday's show, I won't be able to do a show because I got some uh, family things going on. So Monday's show is not going to be on. So you'll have to catch me on Friday. And yeah, so long, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.